So what is Glitchhikers? I'll tell you what it is. It's a game I played many years ago, and it got a sequel / full Steam release. And it's one of those weird types of games that I like. So just remember, content in this game will acknowledge and often the often uncomfortable complexities of existence, like the fact that I can't read out loud. Certain topics may be filtered out using the content section. There is no wrong way to play. So it's going to be weird whiplash from Kirby, and I don't know what to expect, but we're going to discover this game together and see what the fuck it is. Now, I remember the short version of this game being really interesting. There isn't a ton of gameplay, but you'll see. Hello there, traveler. Welcome. How might I help you? Who are you? I am the humble caretaker of this little place we called The Stop. The front of the house, so to speak. This place is a little roadside attraction on the outskirts. You know, one of those spaces in between. We provide refreshment, relaxation, and restoration to weary wayfarers. What can I do? Oh, wheelie. It's a really cool game. As lofty as my ambitions for this place are, the stop is merely a waypoint between journeys. Most of what there is to do here is embark on some new form of travel. That being said, you may also wish to check out our drink selection from time to time, as we will be receiving new stock. But it's wonderful that you've made your way here. I don't know if you meant to. I don't know if any of us are really here at all, frankly. Most people come here between journeys, whether those journeys are physical, mental, spiritual. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Tonight, you can head out to the highway if you'd like, or you could head to the nearby railway and hop aboard the commuter train. Driving the highway always has a chill kind of vibe to me, though your thoughts may wander to all sorts of topics as you consider the universe around you. There's nothing quite like a late-night drive, is there? So classic. Traveling by train is a more collective journey, in my opinion. Everyone headed in the same direction. Expect a sense of community, but also the kinds of deep personal conversations you can only have in a safe space. There's also a nearby park, but it's closed at the moment as they install some new sculptures, and the bus to the airport is running late again. Just check back the next time you're here if you want to learn about those. Sounds boring. You may enjoy the airport terminal then. It's more kinetic, but give one of the other journeys a try first. You may never know what you might feel. Maybe you know what you're looking for out there. Maybe not. That's okay too. Sometimes it's nice to see where the journey takes you, but no matter your travels, you expect to find others on the same journey. Share your thoughts, your feelings. There's never a right or wrong answer out there. And if you find your conversations too much or you need help, you can always ask to stop. Just press the back button whenever you're given dialogue options. Otherwise, you can quit the journey or game at any time. I'll be here if you need to talk to someone. Check back in between journeys. Look at the night sky out there. The moon is watching over you tonight. We're all watching over you.
The moon is right.
Okay. It's soda, but I can't drink the soda. Highway? Let's check out the highway. Let's start the journey on a highway and see. Oh, that's the railway. There's the highway. Start journey.
Good evening, and welcome to Radio 90 Night Drive. Thanks for tuning in. The story goes that early film viewers panicked at the sight of a train rushing towards them. On the web, we navigate spaces shaped by information and data. In video games, we will our avatar bodies to weave around obstacles, and in VR, our stomachs turn at the edge of a digital cliff. We immerse ourselves in a reality on a screen, a reality that is no less real than any other. Realities within realities that sometimes tell us more about our own reality than what we think is real. And what we think is real is telling. What will your brain tell you as you drive the dark roads of reality?
Johnny
What
boy!
truths are rushing towards you? And when the spectacle gets all too real, will you panic like the apocryphal film viewers?
I
Or
think
on?
of
With our next song,
the Mouth of Madness
Jellyfish.
movie while I'm playing this. So the car drives itself, but you do have some limited control over it. How do you pick up a hitchhiker? Do you read Sutter Kane? This guy does mushrooms and tells people the Mayans made cell phones, says a chat member. Someone said, reminds me of classic Vinesauce. You know, while we're on the road contemplating, there's a definition of classic Vinesauce that is different for so many different people. Like, I love shit like this, and I've played it for years on Sunday streams. But for some people, classic Vinesauce is Animal Crossing New Horizons. You know what I mean? Some people just like my mic quality terrible. Some people like me to sound sad. Some people like the corruptions only. Some people like games that make no goddamn sense. Is that a passenger? I don't see a passenger anywhere. Does any... Oh my god, what? Thanks for the pickup. I was beginning to think it would be hours before I got a lift from something worthy. Bad experience hitchhiking before? That's nothing a little drive can't fix. Just to the next rest stop would be great. A good drive can fix a lot. Mind if I smoke? Driving is calming. Lets you be alone with your thoughts. Is that a joint? Good old BC Bud. Everyone needs a little time with their thoughts. Get to know them better, you know? They say the journey's more important than, you know, other things. But why are you driving? To find something? We're all looking for something, right? Answers, meaning, perhaps, ourselves. When I was a kid, we had a cabin out on one of the islands. At night, you could see thousands of stars. They're so bright, you didn't need a flashlight. I gave them all names: Atticus, Caesar, Garuda, and Saul. Saul Goodman. They fought each other in wars of my making. Alliances formed, were broken, explosions burst across the sky. I was a god to them. Some imagination. Yeah, it might have been a coping strategy. My parents pretty much ignored me. Father was too drunk. Mother too busy, yet I still remember those days fondly. Think that says something about me? Probably does. Oh, one day a man came to the grassy spot where I played. He said he was from the stars, and he pleaded for my mercy. I told him it was all just make-believe. He just shook his head. Did you stop doing it? You know, I don't remember. I guess I must have. I've never seen him again. Too bad I was never really a kid. Thanks for the lift. Contrarian copium, says a chat member. Cringe? Contrarian cope. But, yeah. That was an interesting thing there. I see what this game is doing now. But, yeah, I mean, again, classic of anything, I think, is the thing that, you know, you found at the time where it most needed to be found. You know, like, people have different eras of music, different preferences of albums for bands. What's your favorite Zelda game? Maybe it's the one you grew up with. But I'm honestly flattered, and it means a lot to me that people have like a classic era of me, or of my stuff, or of any of us, like from back, like any of the streamers that came up with me, you know? It's cool. I'm just happy that I'm still here. I'm just happy I get to still do this. This is something that I enjoy very much. And even though things have most certainly changed, so have I. And I will continue to change. And that's okay.
Do you see the signs? Do you take solace from the moon above, the lonely light in the darkness, the trees in bloom? Are you chilled by the abandoned playset, the phone from another time, the specter of death following you? What towns do you pass unnoticed? What stars blink out without being seen? Meaning cannot be thrust upon us. Decisions are ours to make. Unless all of this has happened before. Synapses fire before you've consciously chosen. Did you choose to drive? 13 Black Cats is up next.
Is it supposed to reflect the exact same time in real life? It's just after midnight in game. It's 12:11 here in New York right now, and it's 12:11 in the game. But what if you play this during the day? Does it have the same chill vibe? Like, I wonder. It's 1 minute behind my real time. This is a good game to talk to chat about random shit, and then every now and then just pick up a hitchhiker and just hear some weird stories. Vinny, will you be checking out Stanley Parable? It's been, under consideration. I haven't made a decision yet, but maybe. Whoa, okay, just to the nearest hospital. The baby's just about ready to pop out. Thanks for the pickup. Not many of your species seemed willing to take me. My species? Sorry, was that insensitive? I'm still trying to learn all your societal customs. I'm from a little planet in the Triangulum Galaxy. Our star got too close to another system, almost collided with a blue giant. There was a war. Made the planet totally unlivable. Of course, so we left. What was your planet like? Well, they say it was once beautiful. A night sky full of moons. Bioluminescence everywhere. I only knew it as I was getting ripped apart. My journey here was long but wonderful. There's so many worlds in the galaxy, so much life. Yeah, I like the Did a Girl Do It? A little planet of tiny volcanoes and baobabs. Civilization of artists and dreamers who believe we're all just living in someone else's story. Tribes of nomadic people who live amongst the stars. You know, all the elements that form life were created in the heart of a star that exploded, spreading the elements throughout the galaxy. You and me? We're made of stars. First sense you've made. My God, it's full of stars. You really don't believe me, do you? Luckily, my existence is not predicated on your belief. In many mythologies in this world, the sun is a deity of power, light, fire, strength. Some myths say it must be reborn every year, whereas the Earth goddess represents life, birth, fertility, but really there would be no life without the sun, no Earth without the sun. We are all born from the stars like the sun. Shouldn't the sun god be the creator of life? Just a metaphor, man. course they are. All of it is. Human students of semiotics say everything can be a sign of something else. My sister lost a baby. For years she couldn't talk about it, and then one day she said to me, "It's just as well. This universe doesn't care about life. I'll wait for the next one." I can't wait. I won't wait. Fortunately, the hospital's just up here. Sonder, you know what that is? The sudden realization that every other person, all of the people around you driving those cars, are fully conscious people with their own stories and goals and loves and thoughts. Just think about that for a second. And just like that, he's gone. Tuck and roll. The baby will be fine. Or she's gone. We don't know what it's like in their planet. Did Jaden Smith write this game? I don't know, man. I don't know. Do people not just think about this stuff all the time normally? I tend to go into some aspect of existential
The future may stretch before
thought
us, but the past
on a semi-regular basis.
13.77 billion years since the universe was created. Over 5 trillion days. When we can't truly comprehend that number, is that really finite? Can meaning be found? Or are we destined to drive onward in bafflement, lost as a speck of time about to blink out? Don't blink, driver. Magnetar Swing is up next.
I wouldn't say existential dread. I think that's going to be something that people handle differently, and I've had the dread aspect, but I have gotten to a point where I've written some stuff. I've explored the concept of mortality and consciousness in some of my music that helps me unpack these thoughts. But when you go through some stuff and you get like numb to certain things, it's not so much existential dread anymore as much as it is existential curiosity, if that makes any sense. And then it's like, well, live in the moment and try to turn off your brain a bit and enjoy what you have. Is there some ducks over there? That's cool. Is that some dumb Nicolas Cage movie with a bunch of fucking animatronics that's not even that good of a movie? I'll watch it. Hey, there's a cool new video game. I'm gonna focus on that. Because otherwise it's just too tough. Especially considering my place in this world and what I apparently mean to people. I can't spend too much time thinking about that. Just look at that perfect road, a winding strip of infinite potential that we're all riding ever forward on, as if being pushed by an endless, unseen wave. Take your pick of metaphors. Such a mundane form of travel in many ways, ubiquitous in this time and place. We are generationless generation, driving through the desert of the real. Alright, bro. Structured path from here to there, and yet not so mundane, really. In fact, it's all full of structured meaning and, consequently, power. Are you a wizard? No, nor am I a witch, though I have occasionally been confused for one. I do study a variety of arcane frameworks, but no, not a wizard. Foremost, I am a student of a particular craft, the art of shaping structures. Structures of all kinds. Structures of buildings, but also the structures of landscapes, of music, of stories, and of structures that structure other structures. Highways and cars dominated your world in journeys. Architecture changed to adapt. roadside architecture, outsized buildings angled to be seen in full as you speed past them, with towering signs and sweeping roofs designed to follow the eye of the passing traveler. Sprawling strip malls shaped to remain in view for as long as possible, with vast parking lots to welcome the masses, each happy modern citizen with their own vehicle. There's none of that here, which is fine, I suppose. A change of pace, similar but unfamiliar. The way we travel shapes the structures of the landscapes around us. Cars were a mistake. I just like to drive. Oh, me too, it's a special kind of space, secular and spiritual all at once. A tool to banish all obstacles and make distance irrelevant. All part of modern life. Of course, modernity actually refers to a specific period, a specific movement of the past, and yet it's come to mean contemporary. Why? Well, language changes. Modernity was an era, but words have lives of their own and meaning changes. Totally true, but I wonder if it isn't indicative of a larger cultural way of thinking. Maybe this is just my focus on interpreting structures, but hear me out. Modernity in many ways based on the idea that science and reason will solve all problems eventually, and to that end progress is... What am I doing? It's... Get out of the car, dog. Leave. Always forward in the right direction. Modernity favors modular solutions that combine to mutually reinforce a singular worldview. It's often framed as the endpoint of knowledge, grand unification of everything. It sounds great, but that's generally not how the universe works. Modernity created great upheavals, massive infrastructure, and huge scientific advancements. But the idea that there are objective truths lurking everywhere just waiting to be discovered, irrespective of context, or that technology would solve all our woes, well, these can be dangerous ideas. So postmodernity came and said, to hugely paraphrase, we have to be careful. Context is important, especially for those outside traditional power structures. Progress isn't always positive. It's dangerous to oversimplify. What? Seriously? Yeah, it's a lot, I know. But I think having a better understanding of this stuff can give people better ways to talk about their situation and how to improve it. Don't beat yourself up for being confused. In fact, don't try to not be confused. The universe is a confusing place, and all the people who are telling you they have it all figured out are either mistaken or lying. There's so much I don't understand. I don't need to. But I want to. I seek that clarity. Much of this was discussed only within the walls of the Academy, and even there the uptake was far from universal. Some of these ideas trickled out through popular media or resonated with insights developed within the subculture and praxis of the marginalized seeking escape from the crushing wave of so-called progress. We've supposedly been living in a postmodern world for decades, and yet look at the billionaires, boy geniuses, and tech giants applying data-driven pseudoscience and logic to solve all our problems using innovation and disruption. Revolutionary promises sans revolution. Meanwhile, their algorithms shape our lives while leaving many behind, and their massive resources leaves the planet burning. They build over top of the structures of the internet, like modernists bulldozing historic town centers. Anyway, bro, do you want to purchase this NFT? It's all just the wave of modernity pushing us along still, but offering little meaning. Mired in aging dogma, our contemporary really is modern, but to understand that you need the footnotes, caveats, critiques, refigurations, addendums, and remixes left to us by postmodernity. No matter what, we can't let ourselves be stuck. We can get out of this wave and find others to ride. We just need to find the courage to turn the wheel. Shallow and pedantic. I'm sorry. Thank you, and you're right! I think it's a great tragedy that something so important the spirit needed to face and endure our time is cloaked in so many structures. Goddamn, I'm trying to start an argument. Yeah. The game is going to agree with you no matter what you choose. Is it too late to just jump out of the car?
Surround us. Ideas. They guide us, speak with us, drive with us. They're reality.
Let me try the train. Vinny, was any of this going to be on the test? It's all on the test. But yeah, I see where it's going. I see where, you know, it's different forms of thought that you may or may not agree with that just kind of,
Thanks for joining us tonight, folks.
trying to take us
As we
there.
hurtle through space together, I ask that you be kind to your fellow passengers. These rails that stretch between all of our origins and destinations are etched
You know,
into a shared
modernity.
landscape. No matter what your travel plans are, this is one connection we all share. Perhaps the basis for a bond, or the underpinnings of understanding. We're all heading in the same direction, and I know the regulars always enjoy a friendly chat. There's plenty to see, and seats are not assigned, so feel free to move about the train.
So, there's a fine line between boring and pretentious and thought-provoking. No, I agree with that, chat member. I understand what the game is trying to do. Maybe it's just, like, the fact that I have to read it out loud for an audience isn't improving things very much for me. There's that, and then there's the aspect of... I remember the first game... Not that this is bad as a game to look at, but I remember the first one being like just weird little alien dudes talking about their day. So it seems like this goes between alien dudes talking about their day, heavy topics, and someone like trying to educate me about postmodern things. I'm kind of stupid, so I don't know what half of this stuff means. Hey there, good to see you. Didn't know you'd be on this track. Nothing like a long train ride to gather your thoughts after a tiring day. A bunch of people all on the same tracks, all of us on separate journeys, but journeying together. We're all headed in the same direction. Where are you headed? Someplace new. Off to see new sights and new sights, eh? Well, there's a lot to see now. New folks to meet too. I like the train. You get to go somewhere, maybe even see someplace new. But you just get to sit and enjoy it. You're not in charge. The tracks just go in one direction. It's like reading a good book. Just along for the ride. I read one once about 3 lovers navigating the seas together. They encountered sea monsters and mysterious islands and gods of the waves. What kind of monsters? Monsters of jealousy, monsters of repression and neglect, monsters of loneliness vanquished by the power of love. They each had their own reasons for the journey, different things they were looking for. What they found, predictably, was each other. I found a love story, a love of story, and journeys. I gotta get some more writing done. Come back in a bit. What are you? Another journey, another experience, another story. What do you think? Are these stories important to you? Sure, stories are important. I'll play along. You're not wrong, but think about how these stories might be important to you personally. All stories have power. Power to shape us, to shape our beliefs, to shape our whole culture. Beliefs and falsehoods inextricably intertwined with fact and experience, just as important. Take the horned helmet. So ingrained in much of our imagery of the Vikings, our story about them. I'm sorry, I just thought of Joel and I couldn't read. Our stories about them. So impractical in battle, never mind the fact that there's no evidence Vikings ever wore them. The Viking horned helmet was an invention of German costume designer Karl Emil Doppler for a performance of Wagner's Ring Cycle in the 1800s, taken from ancient German ceremonial headdresses. And then the image stuck. They look cool, though.
Next stop,
And
Lucid Lake.
perhaps that is the more important goal for a costume designer, but It is worth any artist remembering that their work may have long-term impacts, and thus they have an ethical responsibility in their work. Well, no, but an artist makes the thing, and then you as the person can choose whether or not you like it, and you can disagree with the art. Is my opinion. You know, you can ignore the art, you can tell it to fuck off, you can not engage with it. I don't know, that's my thoughts. There's plenty of art I don't care for. But, okay, meanwhile, of course, the real Vikings sailed as far as the Middle East for trade and cultural exchange, reached the Americas long before other Europeans, but you see this kind of thing all over our culture, depictions of an afterlife taken far more from a 14th century poet than actual religious texts, imaginings of the Spartans fighting force from a comic book more than historical record. Stories are powerful, they shape what we believe. Yeah, that's true, I think. Yeah, what we think, how we act.
Now arriving.
Act well, this story. Okay. We've arrived. Nope, never mind. That was just still part of the train, I guess. Oh, you again. You were here, like the proverbial mountain. Huh? Nothing forced you to speak to me, and yet our nature is to explore belief. The stories we hear, the stories we internalize shape our belief. The stories we're told as children, the ones we're told through media, and by those we choose to surround ourselves with. They influence what we believe, and what we believe shapes our stories in turn. Belief has power too. Belief shape how we act, how we try to shape the world. Religious belief certainly, but any personal belief too. What we believe has value. What we believe are purposes. What do we believe our purpose is? If we believe we can create a better world, we can find a path to actualizing that. If we believe there is no point, that path will not materialize. What do you believe? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know a lot. I'm not going to pretend that I know. Maybe. I'm optimistic, I guess. It's not always easy to define our own beliefs. The world is a complex place, but we're developing always throughout our lives. Perhaps our beliefs literally shape the universe, or the beliefs of some gods can, some creator somewhere. Does gravity only work because we subconsciously needed an explanation for why we are stuck on the ground? Of course not, but maybe. Believe what you will about this journey, but know that it will shape how you experience it. Is everyone on this train insufferable? I mean, this is the neat stuff to me, but again, I'm not exactly an intellectual, so I'm gonna sit here and do my best to enjoy what's being presented. Hopefully, you know, some of this stuff will be presented as not specifically fact. And that way, you know, there's room for people to make their own interpretations. Our culture is defined by the stories we tell.
Nearly abandoned now.
What stories loom large in our collective imagination.
We won't be stopping there. Instead, we'll find new destinations. Together.
Apparently we like the superhero stories. Which ones are told over and over in media and on the news and in our dining rooms? Well, yeah. Well, we like Iron Man and the Spood. We like dudes that shoot webs from their wrists. in our culture, well, it's the most important piece of this. It shapes our lives. It shapes the lives of millions around us. It shapes what we believe is valuable, what we believe is worth doing or worth stopping. It's defined not just by our old myths, our ancient stories, our cultural heritages, but our new myths, our movies, our obsession with celebrity gossip, social media, propaganda. Artists are important for helping shape and interrogate our culture. Yes, artists of all kinds shape our culture, thus our beliefs, our actions, stories of power. Culture shapes our lives, and yet we so often find our culture divided. Technology, niche communities, echo chambers give rise to the cultures directly opposed,
Sublime.
even as they live next door. But the stories we tell can also help keep our cultures alive, maintaining shared values through time or when surrounded by a society that seeks to assimilate our lives. Community and identity defined by and maintained by the stories we tell, stories of staying power. Have you learned something from these stories? I guess I learned about myself a little bit. We too seldom interrogate our own beliefs, our own identities, simply living in them day to day. I'm glad you have found value in introspection here. Others have stories to tell too. Maybe I'll hear some new ones over a
You
meal.
know your destination. It's easy to idealize riding to the end of the line. But if you feel a pull towards one of our stops, who's to say it's too soon? Your journey is your own. You may be nearing the end of your trip with us, but there's still time to take in the sights from our observation lounge. When you're ready, just take a seat. Join in a conversation and see this journey through together.
Someone in chat said this game doesn't know how to connect to people. Well, I'm being talked at, and I think it's trying to connect, and that's cool.
Now arriving at Sublime.
When do you meet the guy who talks about Hitler in the Hollow Earth? That was just a chat member. Yo, if there's a chat member on the train. But that's just my opinion. Maybe this is your type of game. I mean, I liked the first one. Is there where's that bus stop? I guess not yet. Broad takes that's bound to feel like it's connecting to something. Well, if you like the game, you like the game. Maybe you'll want to pick it up. Maybe it's more of a game that you'd like to play. I think the concept is interesting. I think some of the dialogue is interesting. Just, I think, personal choice at this point, whether or not this connects with you. I really wanted to go to the airport and see what that was all about, but maybe there's a DLC. Is Uncle Sad bedroom deeper? Man, I don't even know what's deep or fake deep anymore. Sometimes, like,
And welcome
you know,
to Radio 90 Night Drive.
it seems like something is,
tuning
like,
in.
deep, and then
The
it's just...
story goes that early film viewers
not.
panicked at the sight of a train rushing towards them. On the web, we navigate spaces shaped by information and data. In video games, we will our avatar bodies to weave around obstacles, and in VR, our stomachs turn at the edge of a digital cliff. We
You know what's
immerse
deep?
ourselves in a reality on a screen.
You missed a
reality
dirt
that
path
is
option right next to the parking lot.
no less real than any.
Vinny, you haven't completed the first journey. Well, do you ever even complete journeys? Oh, well, no, it's not an option. It's just there. What if I told you that the Gray Leno show was actually my most spiritual video?
Hey
And that-
everybody, and welcome to the Grace Leno Show.
And that every aspect of this video is dripping with meaning and subtle, like, little commentary.
Today, thank you. That's right. You know, today we're gonna be covering a lot of stuff. Oh, thank you so much. That's amazing. Wow, look at. That's something real good for you, huh? All right, here we go, everybody. Take it away, Johnny!
Well, Vinny, will you elaborate? No. No.
Good evening, and welcome to Radio 90 Night Drive. Thanks for tuning in. The story goes that early film viewers panicked at the sight of a train rushing towards them. On the web, we navigate spaces shaped by information and data. In video games, we will our avatar bodies to weave around obstacles, and in VR, our stomachs turn at the edge of a digital cliff. We immerse ourselves in a reality on a screen, a reality that is no less real than any other. Realities within realities that sometimes tell us more about our own reality than what we think is real. And what we think is real is telling. What will your brain tell you as you drive the dark roads of reality? What truths are rushing towards you? And when the spectacle gets all too real, will you panic like the apocryphal film viewers, or drive on? With our next song, Bowl of Petunias.
So the interesting thing is, in regards to meaning and art, there have been times I've looked up lyrics to songs that meant so much to me, and then I found out that the artist scribbled it on a napkin 5 minutes before they recorded the song. And yet you can still take those lyrics and apply it to your life, even if that person who made it didn't really have any specific intent. Or you can interpret something that has a very specific intent completely in your own way. Doesn't mean it's bad, it just means that it is a thing that you get from something. Now, the Gray Leno show, I think, is borderline experimental. And if you get something from that, maybe XSplit has encountered a problem. Here we go. It happened, everybody. I got the thing. Just around the 3.5 hour mark it happens every time. And it appears in a very inconvenient spot. God damn it. Yeah, it's right in the middle of the screen. Well, I'll pick up one more hitchhiker. I'll deal with the error message, and then I'm gonna stop anyway. Is this the... It looks like it's the same person. So yes, it looks like it repeats until you finish your journey. I thought it was random. The first Glitchhikers is totally randomly generated, from what I remember, and you would just start the game over again and get a new pickup. So, I should not have ended the journeys. Good chat. Alright, well, that's Glitchhikers. I tried. I think maybe I idealized the first version, and maybe this is more for other people, but like I said, this has got to be a very specific mood. I'll tell you what I like about it. I like the visuals, I like the atmosphere, I like what it's going for, I like the idea that life is a journey, man, and there's, you never know what you're gonna pick up along the way and what stories you're gonna learn about. But, you gotta also kind of be into the writing, which, I'm not. I'll just go ahead and say it. So thank you for watching. Life is a highway, man. And now, I'm gonna let those messages pile up, and we will watch the Gray Leno show in full. Thank you.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Grace Leno Show. Today, thank you.
After this, it will be deleted from the internet.